Independence Residences is a New York City-based agency that provides a full spectrum of services to people with developmental disabilities. Founded in 1984, the agency recently merged with QPRC and now serves more than 2,000 individuals annually. Ray DeNatale is the Executive Director and recently spoke with us at his agency's offices and also at a live training facility where individuals can develop employment skills.
My name is Ray DeNatale. I'm the Executive Director for Independence Residences. Well, one thing is to maintain quality while we likely would go into the managed care environment and as a result get less funding. Another thing is to engage and maintain quality staff who are comfortable with working in an individualized community setting. And the third is, just getting ready for a reduced funding environment in managed care. What we do right now is continue to do external, internal reviews of our programs, both formal and informal, and regular contact with families. And our completion of our Office of People with Developmental Disabilities COMPASS certification. We would be going outside the usual employment search websites to find quality staff. You might use Craigslist, go right to the colleges, and go to institutions like of religious worship and community settings to find people directly in the communities that we're going to provide programs. That will help us get the kind of staff we need. And then, to continue using the personal outcome measures that we've been employing for the last couple of years. Continuous Quality Leadership is an entity that's been embraced by New York State Office of People with Developmental Disabilities. They have certain standards of quality in supporting individuals in the community, and they have created a standard called a personal outcome measure. And these personal outcome measures are goals that are identified by each individual that we work hard to succeed and reach. Some years ago, the executives of the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities came to the Interagency Council and said the state is really wants to move services for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities under a managed care format. And they basically said that they had to decide whether they wanted to have insurance companies learn how to be providers or teach providers how to become insurance companies. At that point, many individuals started to come together and develop affiliations, associations, and one of those associations was an organization called Advance of Greater New York. And Advance of Greater New York is an affiliation, is an association representing some 60 agencies in the lower Hudson Valley, all of New York City and Long Island. The intention of AGNY was to band together to provide skills that any one of our members in the group might have to the rest of those members, and also to be part of the managed care movement. In New York State, that managed care movement is called DISCOs. It's a managed care organization supported under the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities. It's important that agencies that support individuals with disabilities, people who know how to provide long-term care services for individual disabilities, to be part of the entity that delivers the money to deliver those services. We need to attract a different individual who's going to work with us, an individual who recognizes that people like supports that really meet their needs. They don't want to have to wait for 3 or 4 other individuals in order to get their needs met, and have needs that may be more easily met if they were to live independently or live with a non-disabled caregiver. And the direct care staff that supports these individuals certainly have a different set of demands as a result of that. So I would say among the other services that we provide good quality in terms of residential services and so forth, some of the more unique services that we provide are, we are now providing residential opportunities where individuals can share an apartment with one of their parents, or share an apartment with a living caregiver who is willing to live with that individual in return for some reduced rate for their rent, and develop good quality relationships with that individual. These kinds of buddy-like kinds of opportunities creates a real bond bond for a person without disabilities and a person with disabilities to move forward. Another one of our services that I'm very proud of is our crisis intervention program. And in simple terms, we have a hotline. You can call it 24 hours a day. Certainly within a couple of hours, we will have somebody out to a person's house to ameliorate a crisis. At the same time, we've worked with the Block Institute in another collaboration to take 25 individuals that were currently living in Brooklyn Developmental Center out of the developmental center and move them into community living. It's actually interesting to see, on one hand, an individual who's moved into an apartment on her own, is living very, very well. At the same time, we're working with 25 individuals that came out of what used to be called an institution, and we're now developing community living opportunities for those individuals. So I guess that kind of goes back to our agency being nimble. If there's a need, we try to figure out how we could do it, and we're able to do that at the same time as bringing people out into individualized settings, like individual apartments like we've talked about. Independence Residences entered into an affiliation agreement with Queens Parent Resource Center way back in 2012. And since that period of time, we've done a lot of work together. We've combined the majority of our operating programs so that we're working together, and the systems that we've implemented in Independence Residences have now come over and worked with those at QPRC. And this year, we are actually going to merge all the back office functions between QPRC and Independence Residences. Going forward, I think the future for agencies like Independence Residences will be to develop further collaborations and relationship with other organizations as we get further into managed care. The message to my fellow CEOs is you got to get ahead of the curve. You have to accept the fact that we're in a new world, that managed care is coming, that the use of technology is going to be a necessity, that the kinds of supports that individuals are demanding are individualized supports, and you have to create your team and your organization to be ready for that provision of service. So you're in the Independence Cafe. It's a cafe run by Independence Residences. In this cafe, it's designed to teach people the tasks associated with a cafe. So that includes working with customers, serving customers, keeping the place clean, and even during the summer, we have a garden outside that we have our guys grow vegetables and so forth. There are over 30 individuals that come here during the course of the week and get that training. Of those people, many of them have left here and gotten some jobs. So this is a live training environment for the people at Independence Residences.